Here with Courtney Martin, local artist, and she's big Drew Struzan fan. So, just tell me a little about his work and kind of, what got you into it.
I grew up with Drew Struzan's posters in the background of my life. Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know his name, but I knew his artwork. They were VHS covers, that my family grew up watching with like Muppet Christmas Carol art or Hook. And it wasn't until I was about 14 when Star Wars: The Phantom Menace came out, and it was actually my first exposure to Star Wars. I didn't grow up watching Star Wars, so well, apart from the Ewok movies. But when Phantom Menace came out, there was such a zeitgeist around that film, and that poster was so striking as a piece of art and instantly recognizable as something created by a human with paint and colored pencil. And it was just beautiful, and was the first time I really remember thinking to myself that people get hired to create this art. This could be a career, and it's magical, and I would love to be a part of that. I didn't know the status of the industry, with photographic posters versus illustrated posters. I just knew that when I saw an illustrated poster, it moved me in a way that photographic posters often did not. So I would say Phantom Menace came out in 99, and then in 2001, Drew Struzan's Harry Potter poster came out. And as a Harry Potter fan at the time, I was super excited for that movie, and that movie poster instantly sold me on it as this magical, transportive experience that I couldn't wait to see. And it was a year before I was deciding to go to art school. And so I was, thinking more and more about what I was going to pursue or focus on when I went through art school and then afterwards, after graduation. And in the back of my mind, illustrating for entertainment had always been something I wanted to do. I didn't really know how to do it. And while I was at school, movie posters wasn't exactly the direction I went, and I went more into children's illustration. But about a decade later, after being a children's illustrator for a while, I was able to circle back to my first passion, which was illustrated movie posters, and that's what I do today.
Why do you think they're so striking, these posters? I mean, obviously they capture your attention and they're also kind of telling a story about the movie before you even see it.
That's exactly what they're capable of doing in a way that photos don't, and I don't know why. There's like an inherent mystery to this process, but I think particular to Drew Struzan's work is he's capable of, in one single image, at a glance, he's conveying the actors, and he's and very realistically, and yet in a beautifully idealized way as well. They're always flattering. They're always, they look heroic. And he elevates these movies themselves by doing something that engages your imagination in a way that I can't really explain, but there's just something about his skill for likeness and giving you a touch of like the place and the adventure that's gonna there's like a twinkle in the eyes of the characters. There's a literal glow in the way that he paints. It comes alive in these intangible qualities of the art itself.
It seems like there's kind of a movement away from this type of thing at movie theaters. Obviously, they're all in digital print. You don't even get an actual poster in the movie theaters anymore. My son still loves to go and look at them because he's, just loves movies. But do you think there's been something lost, and is there a way to kind of get back to kind of the magic of Struzan?
I don't think it's been lost in the hearts of people who enjoy movies and who love art. It's always been there, and it's very vibrant. It exists mostly now in like the alternative movie poster scene, which is thriving. And there are some artists, Matt Ferguson comes to mind, who are being hired as illustrators to create key art for some amazing properties. I know off the top of my head, the latest Predator movie key art was created by him, and he did some anniversary posters for Star Wars that are incredible. And there are many artists like him uh, who have the skill and the interest to create these magical pieces to elevate the movie. But I think it's the studios who have to rediscover the value of that and listen to the audiences who really want to see more of it. I think there's definitely a place for it it may not be the go-to solution for every type of property, but specifically for like sci-fi, fantasy, anything with some sort of like quality you want to capture that just goes beyond the standard floating head photographic movie poster. I think they're missing out on a tremendous opportunity and giving that to artists who are eager to have it.
Definitely. Obviously, you mentioned the Phantom Menace, which kind of kicked you off into Struzan. Do you have another favorite? Is there any other one that really stands out to you, or a few that stand out?
Yeah, for me, Muppet Christmas Carol is one of my favorite movies. Like it's in my top 10 list of movies of all time, holiday or otherwise. But um, I think I connect most to the movies that I love most, though I can appreciate every single piece he's ever made, especially when you know context behind it. But for me, it's his Muppets is always going to have a special place in my heart, including Muppet Treasure Island, which is just a beautiful painting in itself. There's a a depiction of like a ship in the ocean, and it's masterfully painted, and it's just this tiny little chunk of the overall piece. Um, and then a piece like The Thing, which is iconic and may not be a favorite movie of mine, but to know the story behind how he created that piece in 24 hours with absolutely no references provided by a studio, it elevates him to like legendary status in my mind and in the mind of anybody who's doing this kind of work. He's just an incredible talent.
What do you think his legacy is?
I think his legacy is apparent in the many, many poster illustrators, poster designers, and illustrators in general who grew up seeing his art and realizing that people can get paid to make art, and that when you put love and care and your experience and your skill and give everything your very best, you can elevate things like a movie poster to a piece of fine art. And that's truly inspiring. Um, and I think that he is known for his work in ways that we can only wish that we could do, like to connect with strangers and people who love movies and art. It's a tremendously gratifying way to make art in this world, and I think he's an awesome example of what's possible when you give an artist the trust to give something their best.
All right, local artist Courtney Martin, thank you so much for your perspective on Drew Struzan. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.